Hi, I'm Andrew Priestley, and we sort of live in a time when there's a lot of demands placed on us, and people just don't get the time to think about stuff. They don't get time to reflect. I'm an executive coach, right? I mentor leaders globally, and it's not that I'm smarter than the people that I work with. In fact, they're usually quite smarter than me. They're probably more qualified. They probably earn more money than I do. They've probably got more responsibilities than I've got. But their life goes at such a fast pace. And more often than not, the value is in the chemistry that gets exchanged between coach and client. But importantly, they get time to reflect on stuff. And I think there's two things that I'm sort of working with them, and that is firstly their awareness. What does their awareness tell them? And in exploring what's happening in their personal and their professional life, they become more aware of their thinking, their beliefs, their identity, their skills, their behaviour, their circumstances. Importantly, they get more aware of their values, and they become more aware of what they stand for. And so awareness is a good thing, but it's only good if you apply it. And in this case, you're applying it through leadership, okay? And that your leadership is solid, it's grounded, that it is congruent, that it has integrity to it. And people say you should act with integrity, you should act in more authenticity, but that's really, really hard to do if you don't slow down and reflect on what is actually important to you. What's your nature, right? And so one of the things that years and years ago I decided was to actually take my time with things, to reflect on things, to slow the game down. So, I'll read books that are recommended to me, but I'll take a long time to read them. I'll take a time to reflect on them. I'm reading something, go, what does that mean? So rather than just consume the information and file it away, I'm thinking, what does that actually mean to me? So one of the books that I love reading, and I've loved reading for a long, long time, is the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And, you can buy this from Amazon. I think it's about £5, £7 or whatever it is, a tenner. And you might say, well, what does a Roman emperor from over 2,000 years ago have to tell me about anything? Well, I think one reason why you should listen to Marcus Aurelius is because he was the leader of the largest empire on the planet of the time. And even though they weren't as sophisticated back then, they were probably more sophisticated with the complexity of things that they had to deal with. We have modern day communication, we have instant communication, we have laptops and we have computers that actually can crunch immense amount of data. This wasn't the case in Marcus Aurelius' time, and so a lot of times they had to actually sit and think about it. So the Greeks, for example, developed a whole school of philosophy which we still haven't bettered 2,000 years later. But Marcus Aurelius, he wrote a book called Meditations. And so I got a copy of Marcus Aurelius, and I also got myself a journal. And when I'm reading something there, the key is to reflect, to slow down and reflect. And, make notes about what you're reading. You know what I mean? So you may want to get a copy of this, or you can download the free PDF version if you want. But in the next couple of videos, in the next video, I'm going to explore book one, and it's going to be a short video because book one really is only a couple of pages long. When Marcus Aurelius said he wrote books, he wrote journals. We know that only 12 of his journals have survived, and there were 488 chapters, and the chapters ranged anything from a 3-word chapter up to various paragraphs. But it was basically notes to himself, and in fact the book was called To Himself. And it wasn't until about the 16th century that it was renamed Meditations. Okay, so I'm just going to put up a bunch of videos that are reflections. And we're not going to race through this. I'm going to take my time going through this. And I'm just going to read a section and maybe talk a little bit about it and get you to think about it as well. Is it relevant to you and I? In my experience, absolutely. So it's not sexy, it's not fast, it's not furious, it's really old school. But I thought, well, I get a lot of value on reflecting on leadership, particularly by someone who had arguably the most sustained period of stability and peace and prosperity of any leader that you could possibly name. So for the entire time that he was the emperor of the Roman Empire, they had unparalleled stability globally, and they pretty much ruled the world at that point. I don't think any other leader can boast that level of leadership, which is what makes Marcus Aurelius worth studying. So I'll see you on the next video.